welcome to Scary Stories to Tell in the Not So Dark. We have just a quick craft. Each time that we read the story, we'll just have a quick craft. And this week we also have that snack that you can have. So if you got one of the bags, go ahead, open it up, and you can mix in the ingredients that you want. It's called Walking S'mores. So you mix in, usually it's Golden Grams or Teddy Grams, some chocolate chips, and some marshmallows. And of course, if you don't like marshmallows, you can just have graham crackers and chocolate like I did. So for the craft this week, I have this lantern that we've cut, and then I have a glow stick. So really simple to get ready for the story. You're gonna turn out all the lights. You're gonna snap your glow stick. Ooh, these are pretty bright. And then insert it into the slits that are cut into the lantern. So one on the top, one on the bottom. There we go. And now you have a little bit of light while we read. You can always hang that up in your bedroom too, but the glow stick won't last very long. So I hope you enjoy the story with me and our therapy dog, Elise. Hi, welcome to Scary Stories to Tell in the Not So Dark. I'm Sarah, I'm here with Elise, and we are going to read a scary story this week. And next week we'll continue on. It's a choose your own adventure book. So if you have a preference for what we should choose, make sure you let us know either in the comments or by messaging us. So the book we're going to read is called Zombie Pen Pal. Oh my goodness. You are hanging out with your two best friends, Elton and Mina, at your house in Pointy Hill, Maine. It's autumn break at Dragonfly School, where you are all in 7th grade. The three of you get together every Friday night to watch horror films, but because of vacation, you've moved up Monster Movie Night to Monster Movie Afternoon. On TV, a woman in a vampire costume is introducing a film called Return of the Bride of Frankenstein. Is something bugging you? Mina suddenly blurts out, scooping another handful of popcorn from the bowl between you on the couch. You seem quiet. Well, sort of. You know that new girl? The one named Rose? You mean the one who looks and acts like a zombie? Elton asks. What do you mean? Rose is not a zombie. Wanna bet? He answers. Her eyes are dark pools of black. She walks around in a trance most of the time, and her skin is really pale. I bet she's a zombie. Elton might have a point, but that is not what is bothering you. Rose reminds me of someone, and I just don't know who. Somebody you know? Mina asks. Or some zombie you know? Elton suggests. Mina jabs Elton with her elbow. Sam, you say suddenly. The name is out of your mouth before the thought has even formed in your head. That's it. She reminds me of Sam, my old pen pal from New Orleans in 2nd grade. The one who died in Katrina, Elton says helpfully. I don't know that she died, you reply. I just never heard from her again. I tried writing a bunch of times, but every letter came back marked addressee unknown. The wind outside suddenly gusts and some leaves snap at the window. Elton points outside. Speak of the devil. If you want to ask Rose the zombie if she's really Sam, now's your chance. There she goes. You and Mina stand to look. The new girl named Rose passes by Elton's house on a bike. You watch as she rides straight into the cemetery next door. What is she going to do in the cemetery in this weather? Mina asks. I don't know, but I'm going to follow her and find out, you reply. You head out the front door and your friends follow. I'm not sure this is a good idea, Elton says. You pass through the old iron gates to the cemetery. It's getting dark, and the storm they have been predicting is about to hit. Dark clouds roll across the sky. Drops of rain begin to splatter. When you come to a fork in the main path, it's hard to see any bike tracks. Then you hear a scraping sound off to the right. The noise is coming from deep in the graveyard, up near the top of the cemetery. Who would be up there with dark coming and a storm raging? Mina shouts. Let's not find out, Elton says. Are you afraid? Yes, Elton says. I want to get out of here. We can't go back now, Mina says. I can, Elton says. I live next door. Oh, stop whining. So you're afraid of cemeteries? You'll miss the fun, Mina snorts. She turns around in your direction, nodding. I'm with you. You forge ahead with Mina right behind. You notice out of the corner of your eye, Elton sticks with you after all. Mina probably embarrassed him into it, you think. Pointy Hill Cemetery is old. A few stone mausoleums stand out like overweight garden sheds in the moonlight. The whole cemetery is surrounded by a fancy wrought iron fence topped with twisting vines and cherub faces. It has stopped raining. The wind is a whisper now. The crops of gravestones are slick with moisture. You hear a soft scraping sound followed by a plomp. What is that? Elton asks. Beats me. We'll have to get closer. Using maples, willows, and a crumbling tombstone to hide, you edge toward the sound. An owl sits atop a tomb, waiting for night mice to appear. The silhouette of the bird reminds you that the world of night is different. It's secret. You always need to be on guard. Suddenly, The full moon emerges from behind a cloud, and the light reveals a man standing up holding a shovel. His jacket is draped over the headstone while he wipes sweat from his forehead. A large mound of dirt is piled on top beside the open grave. Isn't that Professor Samuels, you ask? It looks like him, Elton says. It can't hurt. His name might be rough, Samuels, but all the kids at school call him Professor Gaga. Some kids even call him that to his face. Professor Gaga is a little out of touch most of the time. You suspect he likes his nickname. In class, he's always talking about his laboratory, he calls it. His nose is always buried in some book about science or the X-Files. It's him, Mina says. In science class last week, you say to Elton, you asked about zombies and Frankenstein and the science behind reanimation stuff. How far-fetched is all that? Remember how Professor Gaga overheard and said it wasn't such a nutty idea, Mina chimes in. You don't think before you can finish, the professor drops out of sight. He has jumped into the grave. A moment later, a crowbar flies out of the hole. The professor pushes a very large rolled-up rug onto the grass. Climbing out himself, the professor brushes the dirt from his clothes. He pulls a small wooden ladder from the grave and begins to fill the hole. Oh my God, he's stealing a body, Mina says. I always thought he was a sicko, Elton adds. After the hole is filled and sod replaced, the professor drags the heavy rug to the back of his station wagon. He manages to get the bundle into the back. Quickly, he loads the rest of the equipment into his car, grabs his jacket, and drives off. You creep from your hiding spot and approach the newly filled grave. Just as you thought. Look, Mina, this is Mr. Angel's grave. Our former woodshop teacher, Elton cries, horrified. What on earth is Gaga going to do with a dead woodshop teacher? Mina asks. I have no idea, you reply, but we need to do something. So our two choices are, should we go look for Gaga at Dragonfly School where he's been known to work on his late night experiments? Or is this too weird and you think it's time to call in the Marines and seek some outside help?